Christian Association of Nigeria debunks reports on 3 billion naira ransom demand by gunmen. Schools order shutdowns or the closed boarding facilities amid surging abductions. Police foil bandits attack, rescue 25 abducted victims in Zamfara. Away from Nigeria, Islamic State-linked rebels killed 89 civilians in East Congo attacks. Good evening, this is News Update on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Lafo. Thank you for joining us. The Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) in Niger State says reports that kidnappers of 315 students and staff of St. Mary's Catholic Schools in Papiri, Ogwara local government area demanded 3 billion naira is false. CAN chairman and Catholic Bishop of Kontagora Diocese, Most Reverend Bulus Doua Yohana, on Saturday said that the gunmen had not made any contact since the abduction. A total of 303 students and 12 teachers were taken from the school, which had 629 pupils before the attack. Bishop Yohana also denied claims that the school had received prior warnings from the government, calling the report propaganda and urging calm as authorities work to secure the victims' release. In response to rising security concerns, the federal government has ordered the immediate closure of 41 federal unity colleges around and across the country. Education Minister Tunji Alausa issued the directive following recent security challenges, asking principals to enforce the shutdown without delay. Still in Niger State, the Governor Umaru Bago has ordered the closure of schools across the state following the abduction of some students and staff of St. Mary's Private Catholic School, Secondary School, Papiri community in our local government area. He also assured of the state government's commitment to securing the safe return of the abductees. Addressing journalists on Saturday after an emergency meeting with service chiefs and key stakeholders at the Government House, Mina, the governor described the incident as unfortunate and deeply saddening, noting that the state woke up to news that should never have happened. He also called for the collective support of all citizens to ensure the safe return of the abducted students.
These incidents will have been avoided. However, it's not a time for blame game. Our mission today is to see how we can rescue these children and all those that have been kidnapped in that incident. As such, we are calling on all the security agencies, civil society organizations, organized labor, clerics, to please focus on the rescue of these children. Nigeria is the only country we have, and Niger State is our state. As such, we must continue as government to protect the lives and properties of our citizens. In this decision, the stakeholders today have decided to close all schools in Niger State. Private, primary and secondary schools, missionary schools, Islamic schools, Federal Government College Mina, all Federal Government colleges as already enumerated by Federal Government of Nigeria. And if there are other schools that are in vulnerable areas, the state government will also close them down. All schools in Niger North will also be closed completely until further notice.
From Niger State, we go over to Jos, the Plateau State capital, where parents and students have expressed sadness over the government's decision to close all primary and secondary schools in the state. According to the parents, the decision will negatively affect them and their children. Here's more in this report. We'll bring you that report in our subsequent bulletins. We apologize. Now, global human rights organization Amnesty International has lent its voice against a series of attacks sweeping across Nigeria. In a statement on Saturday, the organization said the attacks, especially those on the abduction of students in the northern region of the country, are pointers at the fact that the Nigerian government is not doing enough to protect the lives and guarantee the safety of its younger generation. The reactions came after the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) confirmed the abduction of 315 students and staff members of the St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary Schools, Papiri, in the Agwara local government area of Niger State. The humanitarian organization said some teachers in Zamfara, Katsina and Niger State informed it that insecurity has drastically reduced school attendance since 2021, as children are afraid of attending schools even when forced by their parents. While noting that attacks on schools, abductions and killings of school children demonstrate an absolute disregard for the right to life and the right to education, it called on the Nigerian authorities to protect schools and children. Well, circling back to our earlier story in Jos, where parents and students are saddened by the news of the federal government to close down schools. Let's take a look.
The Plateau State Universal Basic Education Board on Friday issued a statement directing the closure of all primary and secondary schools across the state. The board said the decision was a preventive measure to protect students from potential security threats following the recent attacks on schools in Kebbi and Niger states, where students were kidnapped. Reacting to the directive, Pastor Steve Monye and Mrs. Gloria Monye, whose children were sent home after arriving for Saturday extramural lessons, expressed concern over the development.
I don't feel good about it because as you can see, my children today, because they are school, some Saturdays like that, they used to have Saturday's lesson. Only for us to come today, get into the school, they ask the students to go back, that the school is closed down for the meantime, to further notice.
Not feeling happy because we would send them there to go and learn. But because of the thing that is happening in this our country now, it's better for them to stay with us, for us to be seeing them.
Pastor Steve also criticized what he described as the government's inability to tackle insecurity in the country.
The type of government we have, I don't know what is happening now, that this insurgency cannot stop. Something that has started for a very long time. Now, and to date, this situation is still at hand. I see no reason why this problem should continue.
For Prince Ifeanyi, another parent, the reasons given by the government for shutting down schools are not satisfactory.
That announcement is, the reason is best known to them. Because as far as I'm concerned, the whole burden lies on parents. Because school fees has been paid, the hostel fees has been paid, and at the end of the whole thing, we said that the school has been closed. The students should go home without any reason. So I don't know, sir, if you can tell me the reason, their reasons for that.
They say it's because of the insecurity that the country is facing at the moment.
Nigeria is facing insecurity. So the federal government of Nigeria is now telling us that Boko Haram was whatever name they have been called. It's more than the federal government power.
Some students who were turned back after going to school for their lessons also shared their views on the situation.
I feel very unhappy and sad because that's the place where we always learn, and if we're not going to school to affect our academic.
I feel sad because we may write our examination, so it will feel somehow when they extend the time. Instead of us writing it this week, we must start writing it next week.
Dr. Jonah Ahana, a lecturer at the University of Jos, said the closure of the schools is a setback to education in the country, but maintained that the government has the capacity to address the security challenges.
Actually, it's going to affect the system generally. On the part of the students, actually they will be demoralized. Especially, I know there are some schools that are about to start exams now. So with this closure now, definitely it's going to affect their, assessments. And that is not all. It's going to have an effect on the part of the parents too. Having paid their school fees now, they are told that they should go and carry out keep their children at home. For me, it's going to demoralize the system generally.
While the state government insists the closure is temporary, the Plateau State Police Command has assured the public that it is working round the clock to ensure the safety of all communities and urge parents to be patient with the situation. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Over in Kwara State, the Governor, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak, has held a Security Council meeting where commanders and top government officials review strategies to strengthen public safety and curtail the threats of organized kidnapping gangs. The Governor received briefings from security commanders following the Tuesday attack on Iruku community in Ekiti local government area of Kwara State. Addressing a press briefing on the council meeting, Commissioner of Police Ojo Adekimi told reporters that the council meeting have vested insights from the security commanders on recent happenings and field intelligence in the aftermath of the Iruku incident, including efforts of the security agencies to track down the perpetrators and rescue the victims. He added that the security agencies also arrested a man who confessed to fixing weapons for the kidnappers. The Kwara Commissioner of Police, who said the Security Council meeting was convened by Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, expressed commitment of the government and the security agencies to rescue the abducted persons unhurt.
The meeting harvested insights from the security commanders on recent happening and field intelligence in the aftermath of the Iruku incident, including efforts of security agencies to track down the perpetrators and rescue the victims. The meeting commended heightened security deployments, especially air interdictions, which have dislodged the kidnappers from their former hideouts, especially in Ifelodu. It calls for continuous air bombardment of areas identified as hideouts. The meeting specifically commended the military, police, and DSS for new deployments in the state. In line with the directive of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, a few days ago, the IGP, PhD MPN, has deployed 4 different tactical teams, namely the SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics, Intelligent Response Team, IRT, Special Intervention Squad, SIS, and Special Tactical Squad, SCS, to Kwara to neutralize further threats. The police and DSS reported several arrests of drugs, food, and fuel supplies linked to the criminal, as well as a man who confessed to fixing weapons for the kidnappers.
Over in Borno State, Governor Babagana Zulum has declared Monday a day of prayer and fasting, seeking the restoration of peace in the state following recent challenges in parts of the country. In a statewide broadcast, the governor noted that despite the resurgence of attacks, the state recorded improvements in food security. He pledged continued support to boost agricultural productivity and reaffirmed his administration's commitment to enhancing security efforts. The governor commended security agencies for their resilience against terrorism and urged residents to join in praying for lasting peace.
The Borno State government remains committed to supporting farmers with inputs and agrochemicals. The continued support is to ensure year-round farming in order to achieve food sufficiency across the state. Despite the recent sporadic attacks, Borno State has witnessed a reasonable degree of stability. However, the unfolding situation in the state, the nation, and the globe is a matter of great concern to us. Let me commend the people of Borno State for their steadfastness and commitment to the cause of peace. This has demonstrated through relentless prayers, fasting, and continued support for our gallant troops in the front line, the civilian JTF hunters and vigilantes. Indeed, your resilience has been a source of inspiration and strength to me and to the entire administration. As people of faith, we believe our security strategies must be underpinned by prayers. I hereby declare Monday, 24th November 2025, as a statewide day of fasting and prayer for the restoration of peace in Borno State and the country in general. On this day, I call upon every resident of Borno State, regardless of faith, to join in prayer for the lasting peace and prosperity of our beloved state and Nigeria. Consequently, let us therefore devote ourselves to constant prayers, seeking Almighty God's mercy.
In Zamfara State, the State Police Command has said it rescued 25 kidnapped victims unhurt. He said the rescue of the kidnapped victims who were abducted at Kureje village in the Dumba area of Gusau local government area was due to the swift professional response of its operatives. A statement by the Public Relations Officer on 21st November at about 9:45 p.m. disclosed a group of armed bandits in large numbers wielding dangerous weapons and firing sporadically attacked Kureji village in Damba area of Gusau local government area. According to the command, during the attack, the assailants abducted 10 women along with 15 of their children, all residents of the community. Upon receiving the distress report, joint police patrol teams from Damba Vision and the Department of Operations Gusau, working in collaboration with the Community Protection Guards, CPG, swiftly mobilized to the scene of the incident, pursued the fleeing bandits and engaged them in a coordinated and strategic operation. The victims were immediately relocated to Sabungari Damba for safety and proper profiling. The command said the rescued women and children have since been reunited with their families. In security matters, the Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, Oluwatosin Ajayi, has met with President Bola Tinubu to brief him on the country's security situation following recent abductions and attacks, especially in the northern region of the country. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, disclosed the meeting in a post on Saturday, noting that Ajayi met with the President at the Presidential Villa on Friday night. Photos released showed the DSS chief in the President's office. Although no further details of the briefing's outcome were provided, officials said it focused on the current security situation. The federal government has established a joint task force involving all security agencies to calm the northern region for abducted school children. Tinubu had earlier ordered the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, to relocate to Kebbi State to coordinate rescue efforts. United States President Donald Trump has expressed anger over the alleged Christian genocide in Nigeria. Trump, in his latest comments on the issue, stated that thousands of Christians are being killed in the West African country. The U.S. president spoke on a conservative radio program on Friday as captured by Fox News. Trump had earlier designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern over the Christian genocide claims. He threatened military action in Nigeria to stop the killings, branding the country a disgrace. He also accused the Nigerian government of failing to protect Christians from violence perpetrated by the Islamic extremists. Hinting at his next move during the radio program, Trump said he may stop all aid to Nigeria. Two more stories. 3 persons have been confirmed dead in a gas explosion that rocked the Biodu Alaudu area of Onara local government area of Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Although unconfirmed reports said many lives were lost in the explosion, the Oyo State Fire Service team, led by the General Manager Akiyinka Akinyemi, who was among the first responders on the scene, confirmed 3 casualties. Reports indicated that the explosion occurred while a tanker was discharging gas into a retail outlet. The casualties were said to include the owner of the gas shop and others who were nearby at the time of the incident. The General Manager of Oyo State Fire Services Agency, Yemi Akinyinka, who confirmed the incident, said contrary to the claim by some that several people lost their lives, 3 lives were lost, including the shop owner and those dispensing the gas. He further added that operatives were promptly deployed to contain the situation. Akinyinka said normalcy has since returned to the areas as those affected have been evacuated. Nigeria's creator economy isn't just lifestyle entertainment, it's work, income and opportunity. For every young person with a phone and a story, there's now a path to create, connect and earn. This space is where influence meets innovation. It's the digital ecosystem powered by talent, technology and an audience that pays attention. In this report, Rashidat Oyewole looks at how young creators turn their cameras into cash.
Content creation has moved from pastime to profession for many Gen Z Nigerians. Writing scripts, shooting videos and editing clips now form the backbone of a growing digital career. For thousands of young people, this work pays. Lifestyle videos, comedy skits, tutorials, fashion clips and brand influencing all feed into one target: turning attention into income.
If I decide that I don't want to do any job today and focus solely on content creation, I'm going to make good money from content creation. You need to invest in it. So in the process of you investing, the best thing is to have something that you're doing. Maybe you have like someone that is like giving you money, like your parents. And my parents supported me when I was doing, as I was creating content before I started making money on my own.
Content creation is the next form of marketing. If whatever you do, whether you are a CEO or you're just a laborer or something, you must have a personal brand, you must have an online presence. And the only way you can have online presence is by creating content. And you don't have to do comedy, you don't have to do anything. It could just be as simple as showing up and talking about your life.
Powered by platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and rising homegrown apps, creators rely on consistency and authenticity to grow loyal communities.
You get paid from the platforms you use, and you also get paid from like brands, collab, and everything. So that's the major way, that's the major two ways you can earn as a content creator living in Nigeria. But like if you live outside Nigeria, you have other forms of making money from content.
As the sector expands, more creators are landing brand deals and paid collaborations that convert directly to earnings.
There's a particular brand that I reached out to one time and I said, oh, I would like to, work for you, model for you. And by the time they were going to respond, they made me understand that, oh, they actually do pay their models.
One thing that people really see is the recognition, especially with major brands. I would say, I'll use myself as a big example, where, for instance, a brand big enough as Close Up recognized me. It means a whole lot to me and my personal brand.
Still, content creation remains largely informal. Many creators work without structured support from government or industry, yet they continue to build their own space and push through barriers.
While I was growing, I was doing videos that when I have to do with some brands, they were not paying, and that's because I was still growing and probably I was the one that reached out to them. But in a sense where you're not the one reaching out to them, most of the time they are the ones that pay.
There are times where people ask me, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a content creator. And they're like, oh, is that a job? That kind of thing. So like, sometimes it's a bit discouraging, but like that is just a Nigerian mentality that, oh, content creation is not so, it's not a job. That's one challenge that I feel like most content creators go through.
A lot of people can become content creators. Like there is so much market, there is so much untapped niches, untapped markets in Nigeria especially, and I believe that in the coming years it's going to expand more.
With the right investments and recognition, this generation could drive a creative economy that produces jobs, revenue, and global influence. In Abuja, Rashidat Oyewale reporting for Trust TV News.
We go to the foreign scene where the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo has revealed that Islamic State-linked fighters carried out deadly assaults across the eastern part of the country, killing 89 civilians. The UN's peacekeeping mission in the Central African country, also known as MONUSCO, said on Friday that the attacks were launched by the Allied Democratic Forces ADF between November 13 and November 19 in several communities in North Kivu province, with the death toll including at least 20 women and an unspecified number of children. MONUSCO reported that one of the assaults targeted a Catholic church-run health center in Byambwe, where rebels killed at least 17 people, including women seeking maternity care, and set fire to 4 wards used for treating patients. The mission added that the group also committed other violations, including abductions and the looting of medical supplies. Local officials earlier told Reuters that suspected ADF fighters were responsible for another attack last month that killed 19 civilians in the village of Mukundu, also in North Kivu. The ADF in September claimed responsibility for one of its deadliest recent assaults, which left more than 60 civilians dead at a funeral in eastern Congo. In sports, Kwara United have confirmed the unavailability of 3 players for the clash with Shooting Stars. The players are Abdurrahman Olariwaju, Gidatu Tohib, and Yahaya Ibrahim. The trio have been ruled out of the game due to injury. Meanwhile, the duo of Akani Akim and Sahid Olaini are available for selection after recovering from injury. The players' return is a big boost for Suleiman Ashifat's side, who are looking to bounce back from the defeat to El Kanemi Warriors last week. Kwara United will face Shooting Stars at the Rashidi Yekini Main Bowl George Ini Stadium on Sunday. And with that, we've come to the end of news updates at this time. For more of our news programs, documentaries to the world, follow us on social media platform and our YouTube live stream. Thank you for joining us at News Updates at this time. I am Chiamaka Wanfu. Good evening.